For me to totally lose myself in a romance novel, there only needs to be 4 things. I need it to be dark, I need it to be spicy, I need there to be angst, but fourth and finally, I need it to also take me for a freaking ride. I'm not asking for much, I know. What I mean when I say take me for a ride is the books that totally enrapture me usually have like an external plot line outside of the relationship itself. Mostly because I find this avoids that dreaded third act breakup. If the only story arc that the book is following is the couple's relationship arc, there's not a lot of options for finale conflict, if that makes any sense. When you find books that have this external story arc that moves in line with the relationship story arc, it eliminates that third act breakup piece, because in the third act, it's usually some sort of conflict where the couple is together fighting that final conflict. I'm just gonna come on here and talk your ear off about the mechanics of storytelling without giving you some recs. I was super sick this weekend and I had a lot of time to read. Some of my close friends have been on me for a while to read the River of Rain Duet by C.E. Ricci. I've read some C.E. Ricci before. I'm sure you've seen these. I've read Don't You Dare, and I've also read Head Above Water. I freaking love her writing, but both of those books hit me with a pretty brutal third act breakup, which is just, again, reading is subjective. It just totally left me staring at a wall and like not in a good way after. I find like stories like that, the ending, if that's the conflict, it makes me like not believe in their love anymore. You know what I mean? So it just ruins the whole experience for me. I freaking love C.E. Ricci's writing, but I was so hesitant to pick up another book by her because I was just like, I don't want to get played in the finale, you know? I was skeptically picked these up. I'm so glad that I did. Okay, so it's a duet. So when there's a duet, sometimes, especially if it's a consecutive duet that's following like the same characters and not interconnected, I just treat it like it's one book. In Follow the River, which is the first one here, and then the next one is After Rain Falls. This one we definitely get that brutal third act breakup, but I was okay with it because I treated it as kind of like the midpoint to the overall story, and I knew that it was just gonna add a shit ton of juicy tension in the second half. And there was this insane, when I tell you books that take you for a freaking ride, where we started in here, I was not expecting where we freaking ended up. Like, it was like you start over here and then all of a sudden you're in left freaking field, and I was just like, remember when we were in high school and playing football? Like, that was cute because like now there's like so much crazy shit going on that had nothing to do with where we started, and it was such a ride to get there. This totally hit all of the other points for me. Like, we had tension, we had angst, we had so much like yearning for each other, and it was dark. Like, oh my God, I think it got a lot of criticism because of how dark it was, but I love that. Like, I love trauma and darkness in my reading. As somebody who has trauma in her life, like, it's very healing for me, and I just freaking loved watching these two work through that together and come out the other side with a happy ending. Take this one step further. There was I kind of want to say villain, but like there was a dude in here who I right away was like, this is such a good character. He's an amazing character. His name is Roman, but he was definitely maybe not a villain, but more of like a foil. He was in there to rock the boat and mess things up even further for our couple. And he had his own book, which is out. And it's the first book. I'm going to put it up here. So it's the first book in the Enclave, I don't know if I'm saying that right, series. And it's called These Vile Secrets. And when I tell you, this one hit everything for me as well too. The ending in this book was, oh my God, the drama. It was the perfect blending of that internal conflict between our main characters and whatever the external conflict was. And it was just, there was not a dry eye in the house. This book totally blew me away. Again, very, very dark. This book was even more dark than the duet. But I just, honestly guys, if you like the same type of shit that I do, if you like your books dark, if you like them depraved, but if you also like them to be like, angsty, full of like those, like, I also still need plot, you know what I mean? Like, it can't just all be spice. There's a place for that. Like, sometimes I want that as like a palate cleanser, but like for books that totally take my breath away, like I need plot personally. These ones, oh my God. Definitely a redemption arc for C.E. Ricci for me personally. I will be reading the rest of this series. Like, it was so good. I cannot wait for the next book to come out. Now, if you've made it this far, I also want to throw in a little bit of shameless self-promo in here. And because those are the types of books that I like to read, those are the types of books that I like to write. If you're into books that have that tension, that angst, that darkness, but also intricate kind of like plot that your characters develop and grow and move through, I've got the Mercenary and the Mortician. This is coming out February 4th of 2025. And the premise is basically Ryan Fairview is a mortician who can see dead people, and Callum Walker is a mercenary who is haunted by all of the people that he's unalived in his life. And the two of them meet, and Ryan can immediately see all of the people that Callum has unalived. Funnily enough, they meet because there's a misunderstanding and Callum is trying to unalive Ryan. So dive into this if you want to find out what happens. She's a thick boy because, again, we got the spice, we got the angst, we got the darkness, but we also have a lot of plot. So mark this on your calendars. You can add it to your Goodreads want to read list. It's also, the Kindle version is available for pre-order, but it will also be on KU. So whatever y'all want to do, want to go support me, definitely add this to your list.